This is African News 24 TV, and I'm ADIM, and here are the stories shaping politics, sports, and global affairs right now. From Abuja's halls of power to Europe's football battlegrounds, and across the events redefining our world, we bring you the headlines that demand attention. Stay tuned as we uncover today's top developments. First, the headlines. Sanwo-Olu Inaugurates renewed hope ambassadors, says initiative, not a campaign rally. Electoral Act Amendment, Senate adopts e-transmission, OMITS real-time provision. FG orders NAFDAC to suspend Sachet alcohol ban. Now to the news in full. In a major move to boost grassroots awareness, Governor Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated the 20 local government coordinators of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors, an initiative aimed at engaging communities across the state on the achievements and programs of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Lydia Ajayi has more details.
And bear true allegiance to the Renewed Hope Agenda Ambassadors in Lagos State.
Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated the 20 local government coordinators of the Renewed Hope Ambassadors, describing the initiative as a grassroots awareness movement and not a campaign rally. Speaking at the ceremony in Lagos, the governor said the group's mission is to sensitize Nigerians on the policies and achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, pointing to the ongoing road projects across the country, increased foreign direct investment, and a reduction in petrol prices as indicators of progress.
This is not a campaign rally. This is an activation of sorts. This is our own activation of sorts. It's an activation of what we believe in. It's an activation of our resolute commitment. Nobody can stop people from coming together. This is an activation of like minds.
In his remarks, the Chief of Staff to the Lagos State Governor, Tayo Ayinde, described the appointment of the coordinators as a serious assignment rather than an honorary title. Hence, charged them to understand their respective terrains, work in unity, and effectively communicate government achievements within their communities.
You are the link between policy and the people. You are to disseminate all the achievements of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to all the local governments of the state. You are the face of the renewed hope at the grassroots.
The inauguration underscores a renewed push to deepen grassroots mobilization and expand public awareness of the administration's agenda across Lagos State. Lydia Ajayi, African News 24 TV.
The Senate has approved amendments to the Electoral Act, keeping manual transmission of election results as a backup to electronic uploads. Lawmakers say manual collation will be used if technical issues prevent online reporting. We'll have more in this report.
Following days of intense public outcry over the Senate's earlier decision, widely seen as weakening the electronic transmission of election results, lawmakers reconvened for an emergency plenary session to address contentious issues in the proposed 2026 Electoral Act amendment. At the center of the debate was the Clause 60, subsection 3, which allows presiding officers to transmit election results electronically from each polling unit to the Independent National Electoral Commission's results viewing IRF portal in real time. Senate President Godswill Akpabio presided over the section, reading the outcome of the disputed clause.
I believe that if you're able to conclude within the next few days or 1 week, the President should be able to sign this amended electoral bill into an act of Parliament within this month of February.
Senate Chief Whip Senator Mohammed Mungunu moved the motion to recommit the clause for further consideration, proposing that electronic transmission be permitted provided there is no network failure. Opposition lawmaker, including Senator Elinaya Baribe, challenged the proposal under Order 72, calling for a division in the chamber and requesting a recorded vote. Proceedings moved swiftly, with lawmakers deciding that in cases of network failure, the duly signed Form EC8A by presiding officers and party agents would serve as primary source of results. The Senate subsequently approved the electronic transmission of results to INEC result viewing portal while maintaining collation as backup in the event of technological failure.
5 Republican lawmakers in the United States have introduced a bill seeking visa restrictions and asset freezes against the former governor of Kano State, Rabi Kwankwaso, and 2 Miyetti organizations over alleged religious freedom violations in Nigeria. The proposed legislation, submitted on Tuesday at the U.S. House of Representatives, also targets the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Miyetti Allah Kautoho, and groups described in the bill as Fulani ethnic nomadic militias operating in Nigeria. The bill, titled Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, was sponsored by 5 lawmakers: Chris Smith, Riley Moore, Brian Mast, Mario Diaz-Balart, and Bill Huizenga. Moore is listed as the author of the legislation. Under the proposal, the U.S. Secretary of State will be required to present a detailed report on Washington's efforts to address what the lawmakers described as persistent religious persecution and mass atrocities in Nigeria. The federal government has directed the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control to immediately suspend all enforcement actions connected with the proposed ban on sachet alcohol and 200 ml PET bottle alcoholic beverages. The directives also bars NAFDAC from selling factories and warehouses over the matter. The order was announced in a statement issued on Wednesday by the Special Advisor on Public Affairs to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Terence Conham. Conham said the decision followed a joint intervention by the Office of the SGF and the Office of the National Security Advisor, which raised concerns over the security implications of enforcing the ban before the full implementation of the national alcohol policy. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency has presented its 2026 seasonal rainfall prediction, highlighting the role of climate information in driving economic growth and strengthening national preparedness. We have more in this report.
Rising climate uncertainty is affecting key sectors of Nigeria's economy, prompting government officials to stress that proactive forecasting has become a strategic necessity rather than a routine exercise. The seasonal climate forecast provides nationwide projection designed to guide agriculture, aviation operation, water resource management, and disaster risk planning. Senior Advisor to the President on Humanitarian Affairs, Bintu Ando, highlighted the need for coordinated early warning system and anticipatory action to mitigate risks and improve preparedness.
The seasonal climate prediction serves as a critical foundation for the development of complementary early warning products, humanitarian preparedness tools, and climate-informed policies. From a coordination and technical advisory perspective, it provides the evidence base needed to align planning, resource prioritization, and preparedness actions across government and with development and humanitarian partners. It is particularly instrumental in informing anticipatory approaches to seasonal hazards, including flooding, by ensuring that early action, risk reduction, and response measures are grounded in credible, nationally owned climate science.
Through our actions and programs, we have shown that the days of viewing weather and climate warnings as a distant danger are truly behind us. In this regard, the provision of timely and accurate weather information and climate services is no longer optional, but a strategic enabler of national development and, of course, good governance.
As climate variability and extreme weather events increasingly threaten lives, livelihoods, infrastructure, food security, economic growth, timely and reliable weather and climate information have become indispensable for building safer and more climate-resilient communities across the country.
Other stakeholders at the event stressed that integrating seasonal climate data into economic planning is essential to protecting lives, livelihood, and infrastructure.
Making Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has raised alarms over funding shortfalls, warning that inadequate resources are hampering the fight against rising financial and cyber crimes in Nigeria. Take a listen.
The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission is facing critical funding challenges at a time when financial crimes are becoming increasingly sophisticated and technological driven. Inadequate boundaries allocates are swollen investigations, prosecutions, and enforcement efforts across the country. The EFCC chairman, Sanwo-Olu Inaugurates, highlighted that the Commission's ability to investigate and prosecute complex financial crimes is being hampered by these funding gaps, stressing the need for increased resources to sustain operations nationwide.
We had cause to have a bill, an invoice for just one item in my forensic lab for over 4 billion, just one item. Because the activities of the fraudsters are going, high-tech, the same way too, we are trying to stem the tide of this malfeasance, we must also upgrade our technology capacity. And going forward, during my presentation, we'll be able to highlight those key areas that we want your support.
Working with close partners like the EFCC and other stakeholders have earned Nigeria a seat at the FATF under its guest jurisdiction initiative, enabling us to participate in FATF plenary and working group meetings and contribute to global anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism standard setting.
Ginger Omusibe, chairman of House Committee on Financial Crimes, reaffirmed the National Assembly's commitment to strengthen oversight and legislative support for anti-corruption agencies. He added that addressing funding gaps is crucial to maintaining momentum in the anti-corruption drive and restoring public confidence.
The 10th House of Representatives, under the leadership of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, is committed to making legislative interventions that are effective and impactful. We remain resolute in our duty to craft laws that are robust, coherent, and responsive to evolving criminal tactics.
Analysts maintain that while funding is essential, transparency, accountability, and effective resource management will ultimately determine the success of Nigerians' anti-corruption efforts.
Political parties and civil society groups in Nigeria have staged a protest rejecting a recent Senate resolution on electoral reforms, warning that the proposed changes could undermine transparency and public trust ahead of future elections. Take a listen.
Political parties and civil society groups staged a protest rejecting the Senate. Opposition political parties and civil society groups staged a protest rejecting the Senate's recent resolution on the electoral reforms, arguing that it lacked broad consultation and failed to reflect Nigeria's aspiration. Human rights activist Aisha Yusuf highlighted concerns over accountability and the protection of voters' rights.
They send the same policemen and women who are not paid to fight citizens who come in here unarmed with only placards and sometimes with just mic.
Former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi criticized the resolution, emphasizing that any electoral amendment must strengthen the credibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission and safeguard the integrity of the ballot.
Because the political position has hijacked, what is APC doing? I don't know, hijacking. What are they afraid of? I thought they said they have 31 governors. Tinubu is not Jonathan.
Former presidential candidate Omoyele Sowore described the resolution as a political setback with the potential to undermine democratic progress, urging citizens and opposition groups to remain vigilant.
There's no state Akpabio goes to in Nigeria that he doesn't find network to connect with his girlfriends.
Exactly.
There is no state that Adams Oshiomhole goes to that he doesn't have network to rub the feet of the Ashawus.
Chila Igboala, leader of the National Opposition Movement, said the protest was intended to send a clear message that electoral integrity is non-negotiable.
We can't allow people to take us 1,000 years behind with slim excuses that I don't have network in my village.
Protesters at the rally, including Emeka Okoro and Kehinde James, reinforced calls for credible elections as the foundation of good governance and national stability. Opposition groups are now urging the Senate to suspend further actions and conduct wilder consultations to ensure reforms strengthen rather than weaken Nigeria's democratic constitution. Opposition political
And in business news, Nigeria's capital importation rose by 75% to $21 billion in the first 10 months of 2025, up from about $12 billion in the same period last year. The federal government says this reflects growing investor confidence in the country's economy. The figure was revealed by the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Jumoke Oduwole, who said proactive engagement with investors both at home and abroad helped boost inflows. The United Kingdom contributed the largest share of capital, with additional investments coming from the United States, United Arab Emirates, Brazil, and Japan, according to government officials. The Naira has strengthened to 1,351 Naira per US dollar at the official foreign exchange market, marking a notable gain in the local currency's value. The Central Bank of Nigeria reports that improved dollar supply and rising investor confidence contributed to the Naira's appreciation. The currency also gained in the parallel markets, reflecting broader optimism about recent policy reforms and forex market activity. And in foreign news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is reportedly weighing national elections and a referendum on a peace deal with Russia, despite ongoing martial law and millions of displaced citizens. The announcement comes as a Russian drone strike near Kharkiv killed a father and 3 young children, leaving a pregnant mother seriously injured. Meanwhile, Russian airstrikes continue across Ukraine, causing civilian casualties and infrastructure damage, keeping European security on high alert. Iran has warned the United States not to let Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu interfere in the ongoing nuclear negotiations ahead of his meeting with President Donald Trump. Officials in Tehran said Netanyahu's efforts to influence U.S. negotiators could complicate the talks, raising concerns that Israel may expand discussions beyond nuclear issues to include Iran's ballistic missiles program and regional activities. Netanyahu arrives in the U.S. at a critical moment as indirect talks between Washington and Tehran continue. He is expected to push for a tougher stance towards Iran, including measures outside the core nuclear agenda.
את התפיסות שלנו לגבי העקרונות במשא ומתן, העקרונות החשובים, ובעיניי הם עקרונות חשובים לא רק לישראל, אלא לכל מי שבעולם רוצה שלום וביטחון במזרח התיכון.
And welcome to sports. Tottenham Hotspur have sacked its head coach Thomas Frank. The Premier League club announced Frank's dismissal following Tuesday's 2-1 defeat at home to Newcastle that left Spurs 16th in the Premier League and just 5 points above the relegation zone. The North London side are winless in their past 8 Premier League games, their longest run without a victory since October 2008. They have won just 2 of their past 17 league matches and picked up only 12 points in that time. Tottenham said they have been determined to give Frank the time and support needed to build for the future together. However, recent results meant a change at the point is necessary. Frank took over as head coach in June after Ange Postecoglou was sacked and signed a deal until 2028, but proved unable to notably improve the club's league form despite strong results in European competitions. The Tunisian Football Federation has suspended one of its officials, AFCON referee Haitham Gourat, who officiated several matches at the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations following a major officiating error in a domestic league fixture. The Federation confirmed the decision after Gourat's involvement in a controversial incident during a Tunisian League Professional 1 match. The referees committee described the incident as a serious referee mistake, prompting immediate disciplinary action to protect the integrity of the league. However, the suspension has also reignited debate surrounding Gourat's performance at the Africa Cup of Nations. Gourat served as VAR for Nigeria's third-place match against Egypt, which the Super Eagles won on penalties. According to the Federation, the suspension does not have a defined time frame. The referee will undergo further assessments and review by Tunisian football authorities before any consideration is given to his possible return to officiating duties. And in entertainment, the third installment of Anikulapo, the acclaimed 2022 film, debuted on Netflix on January 30 as a 5-part miniseries. Responding to recent criticism, filmmaker Kunya Afolayan posted a video on Instagram saying his storytelling is not meant to please everyone. Afolayan pointed out that his movies are made for viewers who enjoy deep thought rather than casual entertainment. He mentioned that his past works like Irakpada and The Figurine are intended for audiences who value detailed, layered stories that make them reflect. He also asked critics to withhold judgment until they've seen the entire series, reminding them that the first episodes only show part of the story. Comparing it to shows like The Game of Thrones, Afolayan highlighted that patience and anticipation are part of the experience, and rushing to conclusions can misinterpret the series.
Recognized, and then we moved to The Figurine. And I remember when we did Figurine, some people were like, no, all sorts. And we're here now. Look, all I want to say is, as a filmmaker, don't listen. Just keep making your films. And there's something that, for those who follow our film, there's something that is very peculiar with the kind of film and with the kind of films that we make. We make films for the intellectual, not buzzbuzz. We make films for people who can think, all right? And again,
A misleading post on the X alleged that Nollywood icon Peter Doce had died at 78, claiming he passed away in a hospital under unclear circumstances and that his eldest son had confirmed it. The claim spread rapidly, causing panic among fans and well-wishers. Reacting to the report, Edoche's son Leo dismissed it on Instagram, calling it a complete fabrication. He assured the public that his father is alive and in sound health, while condemning those behind the false story. This is not the first time such misinformation has surfaced. In 2022, another fake report alleged the actor died in a car crash, a claim his son Uche also refuted, noting that the family has faced similar death hoaxes for more than 20 years. And that's all for now. For ongoing coverage and the latest breaking updates, visit africannews24.ng and follow us across all social media platforms. I'm ADIM. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay informed.